Now something completely different. So, what is web? Who knows what is actually a web? Yeah, it's a complicated question. I always try to imagine what is web. Maybe it's some kind of actual web and the clusters of information moving through the highways of the wires like motorcycles or ships. But to answer the question, what is the web, we should know the history of the web. And it's really complicated, because in 1198, there was no web whatsoever. But I'm not sure, but pretty much, yes. On the time of the first French Revolution, there was no Web 2. Sorry. Yeah, but somewhere in the middle of the 19th century, between 1850 and 1890, something happened. You know what happened in these years? A lot of, yeah, I know that a lot of things happened these years. But actually someone, I don't know for sure who, maybe Thomas Edison, maybe someone else, invented this thing. Not a USB cable, of course, but the wire. And actually, with the wires and the electricity, it was a web 0.1. So let's imagine what it was like, electricity, all these things, and why it looks like a web, modern web. Because electricity gave us three cool things. So electricity gave us ability to invent something. Electricity gave us the ability to connect to people with the telegraph and all other things. So if we imagine what is the web, so web is widely used, because come on, everybody uses electricity and web and all these things. It's a platform designed to connect people. Why it is a platform? Because with the web, with all reincarnation of web, electricity or maybe modern web, you can just plug something in the socket and invent a lot of things. And same as in the modern web. You can create a website, you can create something you want with like this. It's a platform. But after a few years, there was a web 0.2. You know what web is like back in the days when the electricity was invented? There was no Wi-Fi, unfortunately. And someone says Marconi, someone says Popov, someone says another guy. They invented radio, and it was first like Wi-Fi. So what is actually web? Web is a widely used platform designed to connect people and the client-oriented, because no one really cares about what is behind the web, behind the, I don't know, electricity and all these things. You care just about what is important for you as a client. And if we try to continue our history, in the 20th century, humanity invented this, nuclear bomb, hippies, television. Television was not a web because it was like read-only web, and it was not so super cool. Web 0.5. It was a phone, because you can connect people with the phone. And at the end of our previous century, our 20th century, something happened. This page was created. Do you know what it is? It's actually a first web page. And it was a web 1.0. But actually it was a web 0.9 because, come on, it looks a little bit ugly. And yeah, no cats, no like images, and no memes here. Yeah, and then we come to really sophisticated websites, such as, for instance, this one. Do you know this site? I use it a lot. If I find my mouse, sorry. This one. Actually, it's a site which produces background noises. So if you, yeah, you can add waves, And I think it's the most sophisticated and completely new website created. So I really loved it. So we came from this one. Sorry. From this one to this one. And if we imagine how often we use web in our modern life, if we wake up in the morning really early, what we're doing? We check news, where? And the web. We check email, check Slack, order food, find a good bar for the evening, we call mom, we Google how to breathe, and other things. And it's super cool. So looks like web is super important for us. I cannot imagine how we can live without the web, without browsers, without anything. So web is super cool, yeah? But how many web developers are here? Well, a lot. And I used to be a backend developer, you know, C++, C#, all this boring stuff. And what I hated a lot, it's installing Visual Studio, because you can spend a whole year just waiting for the packages and all these things. And I feel like this old man, forces smiling dead inside. Yeah, but what's cool about web developers? We don't need to wait for Visual Studio to install. We just open the tools and that's it. You don't have to install anything. So looks like to be a front-end developer is super cool, yeah? Because when I was a back-end developer, what I not hated but didn't love is that how to know that I'm work good, that my job is done. Maybe curl, some site, and 200 okay, and that was my work. Now I am as a web developer, I can show my site to anyone, to the world, to my mom, and say, look, it's super cool. So looks like web developers are the happiest people in the world. Yeah?
Yeah.
No. Well, actually, no. Unfortunately, no. And I will tell you why. First of all, there are a lot of problems in web, in the modern web and the future web. Everything is complicated. Did you know that type of not a number is actually a number? And if you put 99999 to JavaScript, it's actually 1000. I don't know this number, but it's some kind of complicated things. And for instance, if you say 0.5 plus 0.1 is 0.6, yes, it's mathematics, I know this. But 0.1 plus 0.2, it would be a lot of numbers and 4 at the end. Where's the 4 here? I don't know. So everything is super complicated, or something super true. What is true in the world? It's actually a triple truth, and it's equals 3. What? The second thing about web is that everything is like really complicated, like super complicated because of this. You know, when I did the programs for in C++ for the some microcontrollers, it was super cool. Because come on, you write C++ code and it just works. Right now, writing the code, I'm not sure that it's working on the old browsers. In the Safari, IE, or maybe some strange browsers like UC. Who knows UC browser? It's like Chinese or something like that. Yeah. And some web developers should deal with that. The third thing is that everything is like super complicated because of that shit. Who know every icon here, like every, like JavaScript, Angular, Require.js. I don't know what this is. You know? Yeah. Polymer. Are there here any Polymer developers? The next thing is a F5 problem. Now, back in the days when I was a backend developer, if something is broken and your server is not responding, what can you do? It's a reboot and your service is on fire, and yeah. Right now, as a front-end developers, we think that, yeah, come on, if something is broken, just press F5 and that's it, and this is fine. If it's not fine, yeah, claim backend developers, because, yeah, they respond 500, all these things. And the main problem is that our errors cost a lot. Many people think that, come on, it's a web. How can you mess with the web? It's super simple, it's just JavaScript and HTML, nothing special. But do you know about JSFuck? It's actually a name of the language. This guy, Martin Kleppe, he's super cool and awesome, did that sophisticated language. Actually, you can write the programs for the browsers in JavaScript, but not in JavaScript, but with this. With only 5 symbols, like opening, closing, brace, and all these things. And JavaScript will say, yeah, cool, I know this, and just alert 1. It sounds a little bit strange because, come on, there is some language, and why I should care about that. But just imagine, do you know eBay, where you can buy almost everything? And they have the page of the product. So if you want to sell, I don't know, your shoes, or your laptop, or your cat, you just create a page for your product and that's it. And they thought that they are super smart web developers because they have obfuscated all JavaScript and HTML, because it actually turns out that on the eBay page you can add the JavaScript for the carousel, for the maybe some animation, because yeah, it's hard to do without JavaScript. And they obfuscate all the JavaScript. So they thought that nothing can be done, nothing bad. But some people, if you go to some pages of, I don't know, cats, really cheap cats, or shoes, or something, they saw this one. You're lucky, get 29% off today, blah, blah, and download something. Of course, it was a JavaScript, but it was a JSFuck. And I don't know exact numbers, but I know that eBay closed all these pages within 5 days. But this application, the scam application, was downloaded 5,000 times. So potentially 5,000 clients, they just missed their account. And that's actually a problem. So, and you can say, what? We are web developers, everything is complicated. So, yeah, in every talk you must have like call to action. My call to action is that if you are a web developer, you must be super professional, but it's a super rewarding, because you know web is super cool. I like web. I super like web. So web is hard, but awesome. And that's it for me. Thank you.